The advice across the board really is if you have overindulged during the Christmas period, yes, try and have a dry January without any alcohol to just give your body a rest. But it's not always just about the month only, it's about having moderation throughout the year. So you need to think about why you're actually needing to have the drink if it's not in January. If you are after your detox, why are you taking the opportunity to drink if you are drinking every day, and how much are you drinking? Are you drinking overly, excessively over the weekend? So it's about thinking about what you're doing and why you're doing it.
So asking people then really to reflect on their drinking habits and look at their relationship with alcohol?
They do say if you do tend to go out and drink, try to avoid binge drinking. And if you are drinking over a long period during an evening, for example, try and intersperse your alcoholic drinks with a glass of water. So you're not, you're keeping hydrated at the same time and not allowing your body to have that overburden of alcohol in the system, which is detrimental for the health.
The recommended advice is not to exceed 14 units of alcohol a week, but for those perhaps that don't necessarily have a serious problem but still drink on a daily basis, is it time for them to take stock and look at what might have started off as a pleasurable action but has now become more of a habit?
It is, because if you think about it, if you go home and the first thing you need is, oh, I've had a hard day at work, so I need a glass of wine, you need to ask yourself, why is it necessary to have that glass of wine? Can you just change it to a glass of fizzy water with a slice of lemon and try and tone it down a little bit, or even water down the alcohol if you do want, and then make smaller cuts, over time, because at the end of the day, whether it's reaching out for chocolate and other things, it's exactly the same. It becomes an addiction, and you want to refrain from being addicted to any unhealthy substance.
And what about the trends here in Gibraltar? I mean, how much of a problem is there when it comes to alcohol in general?
I think generally across the board people are more cautious, but you do have slightly younger population that do tend to binge drink, and that's a bit difficult to control sometimes, and they think it's what it is, like peer pressure, it's cool to drink, and that's really unsafe, because binge drinking is much worse than drinking even a glass a day. You overburden your system with a lot of drink and want to get almost what they call legless, and you're really clouding your judgment and affecting your body considerably. So I would just say that whilst I don't think it's a very big problem, I think among the younger people who go out on a weekend, one needs to be cautious.
And how is the GHA going about targeting advice for the younger generation, for example, when it comes to drinking?
Well, we've taken a series of healthy eating programs to schools now, to the year 8s, 9s and 10s, and we've been visiting Bayside School at the moment. We will be going to West Side School, and we cover food and drink across the board, about how important it is to watch what you eat and watch what you drink, and this goes for alcohol and other drinks as well. And we're just trying to educate kids from that age so that they have now the knowledge to make a conscious decision of what they're doing.
Would you say this is having an impact? I mean, is it enough? Does the message get through?
The message, when we're in the schools, they are very responsive. The children are responsive. They do take on board what we say, and they do participate in discussion, which is very uplifting for us to see. The message across the board, obviously, we have a new website now, which can be healthygibraltar.org, which you can access, and there's a wealth of information on there. And our office is always open for information if you need to. We have pamphlets at the primary care and posters out. And if anybody wants any other information, there are websites to go to internationally, and they can always contact us at the GHA.